Hope bigger than a hell ring. Things like you heard on the decks. Glover hold the court, give the chiefs no respect. Politics in the mix, like Gumbo Stewart Rich. Spinning tales from Black Wall Street, real life's the pitch. Johnny Glover Show, be more news. Johnny Glover Show, be more news. Welcome to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. How you doing, man?
Man, feeling well, man.
What's your name?
My name is Cardi Cornish.
And you a legend?
I'm a legend.
You're a legend here in Baltimore City. Where we at right now?
We live in the 17, Pennsylvania Avenue.
Man, the last time I saw you here, you were doing something just across the street here. What were you doing?
Oh, yeah, I had some food left over from an event. We brought it out. We fed a couple of people, man.
Why you do that?
Nice soul food.
Why you do that?
Man, the love that God has shown me in Christ, man, it overflows. That's how it overflows. You got more than we can handle ourselves. You try to let it flow. Let it go to the next bit.
Yeah. We're proud of you, man.
Thank you.
And we're proud of your son.
Thank you.
You're watching BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. Business six hotter than lava. Got that Midas touch. Stocks and blocks teaching youngins how to clutch. Ears to the con, like Hova. Each word a joke. Johnny Glover Show, be more news. 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 Walls painted black, history on lock. Blast off from Tulsa, markets rising from ashes to days. Not even narrator, truth was in veins. Johnny Glover Show, be more news. Johnny Glover Show, be more news. Johnny Glover Show, be more news. More news. First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it, they're winning for the long haul, baby. Oh my God, look a little jacked up there. Got my main man Andy.
Hey, how we doing, everybody?
It's a little warm today. How you doing?
Man, I didn't melt yesterday, so I'm trying not to melt today.
Are you from a hotter part of the world too, then, aren't you?
Hmm?
Where were you born?
When was I born?
Yeah.
I was born in New York. I was raised in Haiti.
Born in New York, raised in Haiti. What do you think of Donald Trump, man?
Man, I think this iteration of Donald Trump is not the first iteration of Donald Trump.
The last.
I don't think his distraction tactics are working as well as they used to.
He's tired. Takes a lot of work to be that damn evil.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, and then you know all of your peoples that you thought were your lackeys were actually using you to get in position.
Like Elon.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that whole new party thing is a cute idea, though. He wants to open up a new party. That's interesting. Now Trump freezing up all of these education grants. I don't know what to make of it yet, right? Because there is definitely a lot of like fraud and financial mismanagement going on with all of these grant fundings and whatnot, from opioid restitution grants to education grants and this, that, and the third. But it also feels a little targeted.
If you were advising Trump right now, what would you advise him?
If I was advising Trump right now,
Yeah.
if I was advising Trump at all, we probably wouldn't be in this situation. But what would I advise him? I mean, outside of advising him to go ahead, well, if he steps down, then we have to deal with what you call
The one Zelensky would like to punch in the mouth.
probably should have. But let's see. I'd probably say something along the lines of figure out how to bring gas prices down, or the price of eggs. Do something that's going to be helpful to people, regular people, not just your buddies.
Uh,
You know, like this whole $6 billion in education grants that's been frozen. You know, cutting the after-school care programs and the summer care programs, and the Boys and Girls Club.
no, Councilman. Councilman, I'm going to send a link to you right now to this number. Okay. I got it. I didn't realize I made a mistake, Andy. Let's keep going. Keep going. Bring it back local, Andy.
Bring it back.
Yeah,
local.
what's happening locally?
I mean, you've got this campaign season is wrapping up. You've got you got our boy Malcolm Ruff out here in the streets, knocking doors, talking to people. He's out here. He's not really out here asking for votes. He's just letting people know that his office is available. Call him, ask him questions if you need anything. So that's that when we was out in Emerson Village this weekend, a couple of comments that I did get personally was they was glad to hear that that somebody was out here talking to him outside of the election cycle without having it's not waiting until he needs to vote in order to come knock on their door and have a conversation with him.
First district
now. Oh yeah, and Emerson Village tends to be a little forgotten when it comes to investments and funding, but they're doing some nice stuff with the shopping center. Though. I like the new layout. I'm saying new layout like they did in the actual increase like they didn't do any infrastructure work for real, except for burn it down twice.
That's a very interesting district, and I tell you, it's going to be interesting to see that Senate race. You think Malcolm is going to run for the Senate seat? If you were advising Malcolm, would you advise him to go for that Senate seat?
I would advise him to run for the Senate seat.
You would?
I would advise him to.
You would?
Mm-hmm. I would advise him to run for that Senate seat.
Yeah, this girl
the thing is
in that area. He's never run in that district and won.
Yeah.
Neither is Sean.
Who?
The 41st district.
Sean
Stinnett.
Yeah, Sean Stinnett was appointed. Ruff was appointed.
This girl has run. She has numbers. She has stats.
But the stats aren't enough for anybody to be scared of him. She can win in the plurality. Can she win in a one-on-one? Like in a plurality, you need 33, 35% to win. One-on-one, you need 50 plus one. Different ball game. And you can't ride on a coattail one-on-one. It's you, what you stand for.
How's Malcolm's likability? How's his electability?
He's well liked. He's well liked. I think he's well liked. Watching him interact with people, people want to talk to him. People feel engaged by him. He's very nice, and I wouldn't take that niceness and that kindness for weakness. But he's very nice and very open, and that's one of the things that that makes him different than let's say a Dolly, right? He's out here, he's available, he's talking to you, he's got that open, hey, come talk to me vibe. He's personable. He doesn't give you the ivory tower feel where it's like, don't talk to me. I don't really, unless you're this person, don't talk to me. Like, he's talking to everybody. He's shaking hands with everybody. You standing at a bus stop, he's walking up to you. You know, when we did the parade, he was shaking hands, talking to people. It didn't matter where you were from. It just said, "Hey, Councilman, how we doing?"
Is this guy? Councilman, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good to see you, Doni.
The pleasure is all mine. Listen, we were out at Joey Brown's funeral home last week. We videoed, we taped them for the television show. And I remember when he had his grand opening. Now, he's brought cremation to Baltimore City and now water cremation. And we know that Vaughn Green is trying to do something similar in North. How does it? Well, one, I got to tell you, having grown up in the funeral industry, it's mind-blowing to see what Joey has done. But all that to say, you were there. You saw a local business make history. And I don't know how many of us really get the significance of it amidst all of these regulations. We interviewed David Bramble a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying that was the one challenge that MCB was having was the regulations. Like, I'm always trying to better understand if Baltimore is pro-business or what's stopping us, what's stymieing us from being better at attracting business as opposed to chasing businesses away. Your flow. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I did have an opportunity to go out to Brown Funeral Homes and see their aquamation or water cremation system, which was really interesting. One day whenever I go, that's probably the way I'll go. But it's I feel like it's that balance between a cost-effective way to put your loved ones away, but then also a way that we don't create too much damage in our communities. With the cremation, I think it's that perfect balance. So I'm really happy to see he's the only one, to my understanding. When I went there, he's the only one in Maryland. He's the only one in Maryland doing that water cremation system. So proud of him for taking that step. And I do hope that more funeral homes take the step.
Andy?
I got a question. So after the process, do you get it earned? Like, what if you do? What's in it?
It's a great question. So essentially, the way the system works is they take the body, they place it into a receptacle. In that receptacle, they put in a water and a couple other chemicals, and over the course of maybe 3 or 4 hours, they rock it gently back and forth. That slowly disintegrates the body parts, with the exceptions of the bones. And then they take the bones when it's all left over, and they grind it down, and you get the remains of the bones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Learn something new.
How have you enjoyed the council? How has it been? Are you ready for your first book?
My first. I'm a book reader, not necessarily a book writer.
You're making history.
I'm trying to serve my community, and it's been truly an awesome experience. I really do love what I do. What I'm able to see, the people I'm able to help, the complicated issues that I'm able to dig into and try to resolve. It's really been a blessing and an opportunity. To think where we were, in 2020 when I got elected, it was a really tough time. We were coming in. COVID had shut down the entire world. Which is still crazy to think the whole world shut down for about 2 years. And I walked into a city hall, or rather virtually walked into City Hall, because we weren't able to come to City Hall for the first year and a half. And really tried to get to work addressing the very urgent needs that folks in my district had, and trying to put forward a vision that just didn't meet the moment then, but really thought towards the future and what we wanted to be. And so, we've been doing a lot of work to build up the Yorker Corridor, and, a lot of work to get more investment in the city, to get more families to move here, to support businesses and small businesses, to see the progress that we've made, especially on violent crime. But I think we still have so much more to do. I think we want to be more than just this is funny, more than just a safe city, because I think that's a really important goal, but that is not the finish line. We have so much more to do. We want people thriving in our city. We want people out of poverty. We want to support folks in businesses and jobs and training folks for those opportunities. So,
what about Baltimore City public schools?
Yeah.
You know, I watched this teacher yesterday. I shared it on my Facebook page, and she was speaking to the Prince George's County Board, and she was, and I mentioned Prince George's because we're in an era where we have a black governor, but we're also in an era where Baltimore City and Prince George's County schools are in a race for the bottom. They say, Donnie, well, what do you want from the black governor? I said, I want a task force that looks at why these two majority black jurisdictions, which happened to shift any election in Maryland, how come these two jurisdictions, which happen to be black, are consistently in this fight for the bottom? I mean, Baltimore City now, we have two elected school board members, if I'm not mistaken, Kwame Kenyatta Bay and Ashley Esposito. But in the big scheme of things, is it making it better? Because what I sense in PG, maybe it's the same, but I know in Baltimore City at school board headquarters, if you go to the meeting, it's Mr. Glover, you have 30 seconds. It's that bum rush, get out of here. And the last piece of that is, if it were a majority white school system, I just think white people wouldn't be tolerating it. I think we're too busy. Whoa, got my boo. We are so focused on, I was in Atlanta. We got more Cowboy Carters than we have PTA gurus.
You know, Donnie, I think it's funny. I had a lot of that same frustration. I'll say this. We have made historic investments in the school system, in part because of some state laws, the Kerwin Commission recommendations that we have begun to implement. We are significantly investing in our schools, but I would say before we can do that, one of the biggest things we have to do is get kids to school. So I was shocked when I found this metric, but
absenteeism,
chronic absenteeism. So Baltimore City has the highest chronic absenteeism rate in the state, and it's 48%, and that had actually gone down. And so what that tells me is, it's great that we're making investments in the schools, and we absolutely should be doing that. We should be pouring as much into our young people as we can afford to do. The problem is, if they're not reliably showing up, if they're missing 10% or more of school, they're not going to make the progress in school to get to the next grade and to thrive. And so you fall behind early on, and then you struggle there forward. So, what I did, I passed the bill. As you probably know, the Baltimore City Council, Baltimore City government doesn't have much jurisdiction really at all over the school system, but we do work off the school system that would call for a study and report looking at why young people aren't going to school. For Baltimore to be, double digits higher than the next jurisdiction shows a lot of things. I think we have a pretty unique problem here. We're the most urban area in the state by far. We have the most concentration of people. We have the highest concentrations of poverty and some of the challenges. We are one of the school systems that, especially for teenagers, relies most heavily on public transit, which we know can be unreliable at times. And so I want to really figure out what we need to do investment that we've been making over the last couple of years.
How old are you, Mark? I
can't tell you my age. I'm kidding. I just turned 37.
Okay, I'm 60. And so I want you to bring my old self up the par. I say, if the kids aren't going to school. There was a time, and I'm just going back in my lifetime, but what a difference 30 years makes, what a difference a day makes. They were truant officers. Everybody in Baltimore was afraid of this the first black cop was a woman, Violet Hill White. So where I live here in Sandtown, everybody older than me, because that was before my day, were afraid of this lady who was the first black cop at Western District Police Station. First black cop was a woman, because she put the fear of God in the students. We live in a day and time, and don't tell my child, don't speak to don't say nothing to my child. Although people before me grew up in an era where if you did something slick, your neighbor would spank you, call your parents, and by the time you get in the door, you're getting waxed again. But we're in this, don't say nothing to my child. My child didn't, your child was the ringleader, orchestrator. As a matter of fact, you used your gun. I'm sorry. The accountability, because we want to blame everybody else, but if my kid's not going, Councilman, I used to wonder, I'll shut down after this. I used to wonder as a kid, how did my teachers know my dad's name? In retrospect, I now realize when the man comes up to the school, and he was an undertaker, so he wore a suit and tie, they tend to remember that versus the kid maybe from the projects whose parents never came to the school. Yeah. But I would get spot checked. And now we got 70% single mother households, so it's not like the moms can do it. And now we live in an era where parents are literally afraid of the child. I'll say this. I said I was going to shut down. My dad said, quote, "I brought you in this world." You know the rest of it? You black if you know the rest of it.
I know it all too well.
I brought you in this world, and I will take you out.
Yeah. All right. So I would like to say that in my times working in Baltimore city politics, if anybody who knows that I hire just all types of different people, young people, older people, and in the various conversations, these kids aren't stupid. Like, they're paying attention. They're not going to school, and they have I can't even argue with their reasoning. Like, there's no money to be made in school. They're not learning how to get to the bag. And it's like, I can't fault them for that, because once you become an adult, you get to the paths. Now, sure, a lot of us, we go through college, that's how we get to the bag. But these kids want to learn the ways, because they're watching their parents struggle. They're seeing all of this poverty. They're seeing people who are successful doing bad things, and they're not. The people who are successful doing good things get up and move out the hood. They move out the city, right? And so their examples is already limited.
Many times, David Bramble didn't move thus far.
But and then if you listen to Fox News and whatnot, they're the problem for the city, and nobody's looking at them like they're the solution. They're the problem. Now, the thing is that what I would like to see, because there's no easy solution or a hard problem like this. What I would like to see is a change in curriculum. I would like to see the curriculum touch on entrepreneurship. Let's get these cats part of the economic engine of America. Let's let them be a part of the economic engine of America, because the moment they hit the streets, it's all too quickly they realize that ain't no money there either. Like, you be out there all day taking all these risks, hitting all these plays, and you still don't make $100 for the day.
So when the young man got shot at the Avenue Market, I hope, and I'm still willing to do it, that maybe you and I could get a couple of limousines, maybe one from March Fruit Home, maybe one from Vaughn Green, go to the corner of Pennsylvania and Lawrence, and ask any of the young people who might be up there selling weed to get in the car let's go to the Center Club for lunch. And then maybe Morgan State or Coppin State or Baltimore City Community College for their first class. And I'm talking straight how to make money without selling drugs. Y'all,
I mean,
your team, your generation has eliminated squeegee kids. You don't hear a word about squeegee kids. You also don't hear a word about the white addicts in the black community. Fox don't say nothing about them.
All I'm saying is shuffling in, that's not what they're looking at. Right? They're like, let's put it to you like this. Entrepreneurship might just very well be what they want to see, right? You get them, show them, like, listen, starting an LLC is not that hard. Shoot, there's plenty of jobs you could do as a sole proprietorship. You just have to learn how to manage your taxes, right? Like, there's the path to starting, because they have their own ideas of what the problems that they would like to solve, products they would like to bring to market. In there, they could be very successful with just a little bit of guidance.
They got to watch for the dope man.
Issue.
They got to watch for the competition. They got to watch for the police. They got to watch for the stick-up boys and make money and keep their sanity amidst seeing things like BJ getting shot or the other drama that unfolds at the first of the month when people trying to use that checklist.
I'll say this. I'll say this. I think, Andy, I think you're onto something. And I think you're right. I think you're going to find a lot of kids that are trying to learn to make money and would be really interested in the opportunity to do that and learn to do that more effectively through school. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also think one of the big things, and I've heard this in a number of conversations as I floated my bill as it's passed, that one of the big things that continues to attract kids to school and keep them engaged is having something to do other than just math and science. Some kids, they want to act. Some kids, they want to sing. Some kids, they want to play a sport. Some kids want to do music. Some want to draw. They want to do the performing arts. And those things make education fun. They make it attractive. It's something to look forward to. And, you know, after a long day of everything, at the end of that day, you're a part of your school play or your basketball team or whatever it is. And kids look forward to that. And they know if they need to make the grades to be on the basketball team, they'll make those grades. 9 times out of 10, they'll make those grades because they want to be on the team. They want to be with their friends. So we need ways to ways to attract young people back into our schools and have them more engaged. That is entrepreneurship. Some kids need to make money and want to make money and are prepared to make that step. Some kids are still interested in doing other things, but we need to find that piece and make sure it's available in our schools.
They want to make money.
Because you got emerging technologies that aren't really being covered. Like, you think about it, how come these kids aren't learning about the streaming industries? And, like, what is the science of going viral? What is a good podcast? What does that structure look like? This is education that's going to be
Emerson West Side. They got rid of some trades up there, and the people were getting upset. And really didn't hear much more about it. But again, I say we organize for what we want. You know, BJ, the A-Rabber got shot at the market. The city was, here comes that again. But we didn't. We acted more intelligently. It wasn't another Freddie Gray. The administration was proactive. Even as of late, going to Pennsylvania Avenue, bringing the resources there. But let's not wait till the emergency. We know they out there slinging.
Yes.
Why are we waiting? Just take it. You're going in the right direction.
Doni, it's funny. I had a meeting maybe 2 weeks ago in my district. There was a shooting on York Road. There were these young men that have been on this corner for years before I even came onto the council. And we've been complaining about it for years. I've been bringing it to the department for years. I've been bringing it to Monty for years. And we just haven't been able to resolve the issue. Finally, and I hate to say finally, but there's a shooting. And we knew this would happen at some point. Young man was shot. Fortunately, he's still alive. But it scared the community. It scared the young men that usually are on that corner with him. And it has temporarily, at least, cleared the corner. But what it has not done is it has not solved the problem for why those young men are on that corner. What do they need? If it's entrepreneurship, if it's something to do. It was interesting. We met, the community pulled together a meeting of all the neighborhoods on York Road. And we were talking about exactly that issue. And at some point, folks just went out there and got the kids and brought them in and asked them what they wanted. You know what they said? They said, we don't have nothing to do. We don't have nothing to do. We hang out here all day. There's nothing to do. The rec center's shut down.
That part right there. That's the rec saved our lives. And between my generation and yours, it's been this moving the cheese, cat and mouse. In my generation right now, and I was not a star basketball player, but it was BNBL and Project Survival. I was James Mosher baseball, and that was only for the really smart kids, because basketball players, I don't know if they struggle missing that 90-mile-an-hour fastball. I'm joking, but the rec saved our lives.
Yeah.
And when it flipped into the PAL Center, it was a turnoff. Black mayor, Mayor Smoke, loved him. But it scared away the kids who were not selling drugs, but were on the fringe of it. They were right there. And if they had to choose, go with the cops or not with the cops, they're not going with the cops, because the streets have an incredible pull. And the kids are saying, oh, you over there snitching or something, whatever that is on the junior high school level. I'm just saying the rec saved our life. It was a safe space. But when they introduced the Police Athletic League, the kids from North Avenue, from Fulton Avenue, I ain't going over there with 5-0. And that might be right at the time where they were given the choice to sell weed or not sell weed. And then drug dealers had a lot more character back then. Drug dealers would not let star athletes be a part of that life.
Yeah.
Charlie, get on a body, yeah.
You got a future. Yeah.
I will say, speaking on,
please keep prodding. Please keep searching for answers. And that's why we called you. I've seen you articulate. I've seen you be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. And you're the future. This city has a future, and I'm black. The name of my first book is Unapologetically Black. I'm not looking I do see what's happening in the 41st district. I see what's happening in Baltimore County. Julian Jones might be able to beat Izzy Patoka, but I'm not thinking about their community. I want to know what about us. You. Where do you want to go? Do you want to be man? They talking about Zeke Cohen. He wants to be man. Damn, Zeke, I'm talking to you. Because I only see them people in my neighborhood when the cameras come out. I'm talking about people who come to Penn North and don't need security, don't need a camera, don't need this IG. And then I look at that 41st district. Oh my God. I know that's on the other side of town, but Lisa Gladden busted her butt to win that 41st district seat. And man, we gave it up like a hooker on the block.
Yeah.
For cheap. We gave it up for cheap.
Yeah.
They didn't even get a cigarette for their vote.
If I may circle back to the rec center topic. So a couple years ago, I was working with this lady, Christina Marie Marsh, right? She had me come do a civics lesson at the evening reporting center, right? And so I said to them, all right, all of you guys in here, y'all are my city council, all right? And you guys have about $3 million, and I want you guys to create a program that would prevent you from ending up in here, right? And they sat there, they went back and forth. It was argument. We're writing on the board. We're fully engaged. And the discussion broke out, right? They were like, having better schools is all great. The rec centers, it worked. It worked for like the first few weeks, few months, because they're saying, listen, when a new rec center opens up, right, it's all nice, right? Everybody comes there. and everybody's enjoying it, and then the gangs start coming, and then everybody else stopped coming, and then it was like, and then what that brought to mind was the fact that, all right, a rec center serves too many different neighborhoods, right? And so we don't know where the conflicts are from the different neighborhoods. And so you're going to end up having people just not come and use the service because they don't know if their ops is going to be there. And that's where Christina Marie Marsh jumped in, and she was like, well, what about if there were subdivided rec centers? Not necessarily a full rec center, but a community living room, right? Where it's a micro rec center, but it only serves the kids in that neighborhood. He was like, would you go to? And all of them was like, yes, air conditioning, TV, video games. Yeah, we'll be in there. And it's like, you know what? We're not talking to them enough because they have the solutions. They've thought about it already. And so like we'll drop a few $1 million on this big rec center and do this big ribbon cutting and this, that, and the third. But if we were to have a bunch of micros right here in the backgrounds in the neighborhoods, we'd be able to the most beautiful thing about that idea is they wouldn't be in the line of fire because their ops are spinning the block looking to shoot them. If they're not out there, they can't get shot. It's real simple. If they're inside the community, the community living room, playing video games or something like that, they're not there when the ops spin the block. And that gives us a centralized location where we can then strategize. Like, how do we further protect these kids? Like, how do we make sure that we keep track? Like, I feel like when it comes down to policing in Baltimore City, the different police units all operate independently and they're not syncing up, because the school police is a bevy of intel. They know a lot. Are they at the table? Are they at the table with the city police when these investigations and their blocks, this, that, and the thing? Are they bringing in school police? Because they know a lot. They know a lot more than we give them credit for. If you sit down and you talk to Clyde Boatwright, he will confirm this. You talk to Donovan Brooks, he will confirm this. Like, they know a lot.
Councilman, I heard a returning, or the term isn't returning, a person who was formerly incarcerated say that the people at the top of the ship are not talking to the people at the bottom of the ship. Back in 1973, and I mention this because we now have Craig Thompson at the Maryland Stadium Authority. In 1973, I was 8 years old. They said, we're going to bring in the Maryland State Lottery. It's going to mean money for education. $15 billion has come through that Maryland State Lottery. We don't go to Memorial Stadium anymore. I'm old school, and there was never a fight over there. We now have Camden Yards and the Ravens Stadium, which have been renovated. But we've got schools. We've got schools, including the two I went to, Baltimore Polytechnic Institute and Dunbar. Citywide schools without air, without heat. And we wonder why the kids don't respect us. We have failed them. We failed them. And they built a new school. Now, me and Senator Hayes have had disagreements on this. They built the new Dorothy Heights School. Back in the day, that was John Eager Howard Rec. That was the best basketball team in West Baltimore who had any chance of success in beating them cats from Madison or Lafayette. You know why you can't beat them cats from Madison and Lafayette? Because they play basketball all day, every day. And when they get tired, they go play some more. Just like us in West Baltimore, James Mosher baseball. Nobody could beat us. That's all we did, all day, every day. What Johnny does most, Johnny does best. And more than that, we're saving lives. What's wrong with us? What are we that retarded or underdeveloped or aloof? Why can't we see what they need? And why don't we just give it to them? Like DC Rex, their Rex got night football. PG County, they got night games, night Rex. Easterwood Rec that I grew up on, man, looked the same as it did when I was a kid. And big ups to Stephanie for passing it on to Omega Sci-Fi. But the Rex used to save our lives, man. And I don't know. What do you
and
think, Councilman?
and that's still where it is. I think it's funny when I first came on. Actually, I'll say this: before I came on the council, I actually worked in the mayor's office years and years and years ago under Stephanie Rongs Blake, and at the time we were having issues with young people during the summer getting into trouble at night, and so. I forget the guy's name, but it was a guy in Wrecking Parks who was just like really into it. He was like, "Look, let's do a midnight basketball game.
Damn right.
We'll do a tournament, and then we'll build up, and then we'll have a final game at some point." And it crushed. It absolutely killed it. And so we did that one year, and we did the next year, and we got so much interest from young people across the city, and so much pride in their neighborhoods when they were competing against other neighborhoods.
You got the fresh jersey on.
You got the jerseys, you got bragging rights, you got it all at the end of the day. And when I came on the council, that was one of the first things I brought to Monty. I'm like, look, we need to do this again. In the first year, we had issues with young people. This is 2021 when I was on the council. First year, we had issues with young people at nighttime over the summer. I recommended we do that. And we rolled it out, and it was okay. And then we tried it again the next year. It was a little bit better. And the year after that, a little bit better. And now, the administration has now rolled out pool parties, basketball games, things like that. Because that's where it is. If you can engage young people, keep them entertained, and give them an opportunity to, build relationships across each other in a safe way, in a safe space, that's where you solve problems. That's where you get them off the streets. That's where you prevent them from breaking into cars. That's where you get them from, getting into altercations and fights and stuff like that. Kids want to be kids at the end of the day. If you give them the opportunity, they will do it. But yeah, I think you're 100% right, Donnie. And that's something that I continue to bring up when we're talking about how we work with young people. The ones that are having trouble, they've gone astray. We can get them back, but we need to do more than just, give them the same old. They're not interested in what we're offering if we do the same thing.
We specialize in Maryland in incarcerating people. America has 5% of the world's population, but we have 25% of the incarcerated people. Nearly 40% of them are Black men, Black males. Black women are the fastest growing demographic. I live in zone 17, 16 is next door, 15, and over in East Baltimore, 05. These areas have the highest number of people breaking law and getting locked up anywhere in Maryland. How do we reverse this trend of mass incarceration in a community laced with 70% single mothers? And I know us men don't want to hear it, but we have to, those of us who are not locked up have to father the kids of those who are locked up or strung out or dead, because moms can't do it alone. When you got to be 13, 14, physically stronger than your mother, generally speaking, because we know Black women are pretty damn strong, and they will catch you sleeping if it
My
means
mom would still bust
much.
me inside the head if she need to.
Yeah. And then we got these liberal people, councilmen, saying, oh, no, you can't speak about bringing violence to kids. My daddy said, I brought you in this world, I take you out. And we need to start letting people who can't raise their own children tell us how to raise ours. But I defer to you, councilman.
Look, I think one of the things I've always thought about people as progressing over time. Nobody is born wanting to shoot another person. Nobody, no 5-year-old is like, I want to go out there and sell drugs. That's not how this works. At some point, our young people go astray, and there's always a red flag. They start getting into fights. They hang out with the wrong kids. They start skipping school. They get caught doing drugs, and they're like 12. Those are the red flags. When we see those red flags, we need to jump in with whatever we have. We need to support that young person and wrap them with all the services that they need. What it tells me when they wave those red flags is that either they're in a situation that is overwhelming, or they're in a situation that can't fully support the needs of that young person in the moment. But when we see those things, we have to respond, because if you don't, that 5-year-old becomes a 10-year-old, that 10-year-old becomes a 15-year-old, that 15-year-old, 18, 17, and otherwise. And that's the one that gets into trouble. So we need to work on our young people. And when they wave those red flags, swoop in, show them some love, show them some support, give them opportunities. But far too often, we ignore it. We see kids struggling. We see kids hungry in their homes or having issues because their parents are having issues. Their parents can't support them because they're having their own difficulties. Lord knows the drugs that we're talking about that our young people are selling, it's our adults and our parents that are actually hooked on those drugs. And it breaks down families. Or in worst cases, we see people overdose and die. We had this whole conversation last week. I wasn't able to attend, but this has been an issue I've been really focused on, but that being opioids and overdoses and how it destroys families and really begins to break up the fabric of our city. But when we see our young people waving those red flags, we have to respond. We can't ignore that. Because when we do, it's far more expensive, far more difficult to respond with a police presence or to respond to some crime that they've committed or a car that they've stolen, because they're not adjusting. So,
considering how much money, I just got back from Atlanta. Considering how much money we spend in the hair weave industry, I like to see our kids maybe take them on a trip, take 10 kids. The baddest drug dealers in Baltimore. Let me just put it out there, because take them to China. Show them manufacturing. They took Frank Lucas all the way to the source of cocaine. Take them to the source of whoever makes weed, and let them sell bundles. We spend all this money in the industry. Let's go and make it work for us. I told my daughter's 24 now. 16, she started, throwing that weave in her hair. And I said, if you're going to wear it, you might as well sell it. And damn if she didn't. She contacted China and she opened up a store.
Wow. Good for her.
I'm talking about that money, make that paper. Because honestly, they're not making a lot of money on the corner. You're getting enough for a pair of damn tennis shoes and to pay the phone bill. The rest of it, you're looking over your back. It's not safe.
Yep.
Councilman, are you what's going on down the road? Where do you see yourself as we progress with the council?
It's a very direct question.
Being mayor one day?
Oh, is that?
Mayor Conway one day?
I'll say this. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. I would love to do more, and it's at the end of the day up to the people to decide how much I can do. And I was talking to my team about this the other day, and I could be doing very different work. I don't need to be on the council. I don't need to be in public service. I could probably make significantly more money and be a lot less stressed in a different world. But I'll tell you what drives me. I'm a father. I've got 2 daughters, 5 and 7 years old, and I love my daughters more than anything in the world, except my wife. And I want to make sure that they are proud of my city and the work that I do for my city, so that when they become adults, they raise my grandkids in my city, and I don't have to move to some other city to go chase them in order to be around my grandkids. I want them to be proud of their city, so that no matter where they go, they can say, I'm from Baltimore, and nobody can question them for that. And it may take us a while to get there. We are steadily making progress, but I want us to be more than just, we had less than 300 homicides this year. I want people to be excited to come here. I want people to be excited to live here and raise their family here. And it starts with a bigger vision. And so whatever the people will let me do to contribute toward that, I am eager to do so.
Well, I'd love to hear you talk more about this economic. You got Otis Rowley. You got Mark Anthony Thomas. You got Shalonda Stokes. You've got David Bramble. You've got a black ecosystem. It's okay to say I'm black. We don't have to whisper it anymore. We're in a majority black city, and black people are talking. Huh?
One of the few remaining.
Yeah. The mayor's not ashamed of being black. He's the blackety blackest mayor. So it's okay to say we're black. And mind you, I'm 60, you 37. This is a reversal of years. You can't say that around white people. You gotta. We're breaking multi-generational curses. You got a black governor, the largest black caucus. You got also Brooks, Aisha, Ivan. Dude, you got it going on. Dude, y'all should be, every day should be like a Steph Curry day. Where I'm going to shoot from the day, because whatever I shoot is all nets. That's just my, and then you got the first lady, you know she want to go all the way.
Yeah.
I just see synergy like never before, and I don't want y'all to lose it. I want us to win.
Yeah.
Nobody wins Maryland, Democrat or Republican, without Baltimore and PG. PG got the numbers, but we got the media. PG ain't got no media. Marylanders don't want to hear what the Washington Post say about governor. They want to know what the Baltimore Sun, sad enough, the Baltimore Banner, but of course, Be More News, the Afro. They want to know what we got to say. And we have shifted every election over the past 20 years. Use that momentum. Coppin got more money from the Republicans, truth be told, because Democrats ignored Coppin State for generations. Now you got 50 million on West North Avenue. Can you imagine 50 million on York Road? We got to strengthen the corridors.
I could think of a lot of things to do.
And then you look at that bridge. That bridge touches your neighbor. You got people over in your area that used to catch that key bridge going south, and jobs and all of that. So we just want you to know that we support you. We want you to win. Be bold. Be audacious. The fact that I saw you at Joey's funeral home, and you might have been the only black man there. So I'm like, yeah, bro, get it. I'm sorry, I get excited sometimes.
I appreciate you, man, and I will say we need to continue to sing that exact tune from the mountaintops, because the narrative about our city is not always that. We're not always talking about the progress that we made. We always hear about this like history of the city as it is still the present, and that is we are no longer that. We have made a lot of progress as a city, and I think we have the potential to do so much more. But we need to be talking about it. We need to be talking about the progress. We need to be talking about the black leadership. We need to be talking about how much work we've been able to do together now that we have a black governor that is fully vested in Baltimore City. So it's been real eye-opening to see how much we can do, and I see the opportunities. I had an opportunity to talk with Mark Anthony Thomas, a couple of days ago, and he's shooting for the stars. He sees it. He's not from Baltimore, but he sees what Baltimore can be, and he's been put forward a vision and a plan that can help us be a much greater region in a city. So I'm excited to work, with the mayor, with the governor, with GBC and all the other partners to make sure that we fully invest in our economy and make sure that young people are here to reap the benefits of that. Because in many ways, we want to see the city grow, but we want to see the folks here truly thrive. And that starts with our young people having the skills necessary to be a part of that future. So we need them in their schools. We need them building skills. We need them prepared to take, the next century of jobs. And that makes, that's how we get there.
So maybe by the next time we can work on getting Dr. Anthony Jenkins at Coppin and Dr. David Wilson in Morgan, getting them in a limousine with you, and we go around to a couple
Doni,
of
you like limos, man. You like
limos. I do. I'm a son of an undertaker. I want the Cadillac Superior. You know why? Because the only time we ride in them quite often is at the end of life type thing. I like that Cadillac Superior. I'm old school. Look like Charlie Chan, but put them in a nice vehicle and let them see. Man, I took my son. He's been to Morgan before, but 29, I saw him on Morgan's campus, and his head was like at a tennis match. It's 10-1, dude.
I know.
Are you slow?
I know, man. If you told these kids on the corner if they just focused a little bit more and made it to that next step, what their options look like, infinitely better, as opposed to looking around your shoulder to make sure somebody's not coming for you. Infinitely better if you can get to college. But we gotta pitch that vision to them and explain to them what it means and how they can build that skill set so that they could really, as Andy was saying earlier, be real entrepreneurs and build a business that can thrive for generations. Something that they can pass down to their kids when they have them.
And
we want to see folks building black wealth.
We can bring in people who have done 30 years who are now home. Mr. Rudy Williams. Back in the day, he was
about it, right?
Now he's writing plays. Huh?
You got to think about it, right? We can try to usher them into college, but they want to just do their own thing. I think getting them up to, because the thing is, they don't necessarily have to go do 4 years to start a successful business. They just have to learn the mechanics of starting a business.
These people, you do 10 years over the penitentiary getting caught with a bag of fentanyl. Stop playing. We got to, let's be real. So I'll sit for 20 years on a fentanyl charge because I'm being tough and I ain't snitching on nobody. But I can't fathom 2 years in a damn school, in a classroom. Stop giving them the damn softy, man. Stop it.
It's not a matter of softy or not. People can go to school for 4, 6, 8 years and still suck at it. People tend to do the things that they're good at.
I will tell you this. I would not sell our young people short. If they want to go to college, I want them to see that as an opportunity. If they're at least a little bit interested, like I want them to see it as a possibility. I didn't know I was going to go to college. That wasn't the plan for me. My parents didn't have any money saved for me to go to college. I took it all out in loans, and man, was that painful. But we got to find ways to support young people and see that 20 years out, 15 years out, so they know that, at 5 years old, I might go to college. I can see myself at Morgan. I can see myself at Coppin and get a great education. And I'll tell you, college was one of the best experiences in my life. Of the best experiences in my life. And I want them to have that. Whether or not they need it, I want them to have it if they can. If they can, I want them to have it. That's
Andy,
I share that feeling. I share that sentiment, but about the military. I'm like, the military was the best experience of my life. I want everybody to have it, but I also want people to be able to make their way. If this kid sees the opportunity to I don't know, to solve a neighborhood-based problem, right? Like, I don't know, whether it be start a little a bodega of his own or something like that in his neighborhood, and he doesn't want to go to college, he doesn't want to do anything other than that stuff. If he wants to solve a problem, he wants to start a business, I think that should be a path, as well as college, as well as going through the trade schools and whatnot. It should be a path that's like, hey, listen, if you just want to get out there and get money legally, there is a way. If you have an idea and you're going to sit down, because the thing is, half of the people who have a good idea, they fail at just not writing the business plan.
Yeah.
They don't write it out, and it doesn't seem fundable because it's just an idea. They haven't thought through everything.
I'm not suggesting that folks who don't want to go to college should go to college. If you're not interested in college, and academics is not something that you're interested in taking beyond the bare necessity, by all means, start your business, support yourself and your family. But I would say, if you have the opportunity, whether it's on a sports scholarship or on pure brains to go to college, I think it's one of the most enlightening and helpful experiences. I think it's definitely worthwhile. If you can. If you don't want to do that, then I don't think you should prevent someone from getting a job because they don't have a college degree.
But dude, I don't like them excuses people make. Oh, not everybody's made for college. Time out. I saw this boy hitting a wheelie up Pennsylvania Avenue, backwards, blindfold, navigating traffic, never hit nobody. But we want to say, oh, not everybody's made for college. Where do we come with that kumbaya, that coddling type, and this? And I know it's going to start a fight. My mother said, at 18, you're leaving here. College, military work, but you're leaving. And you got Oh, well, no, I don't want to put my kid out that early. You trained them for 18 years. That bird can fly.
Be a man.
That bird can fly. Oh, that bird can fly. Let him fly.
I agree.
Thank you for joining us this morning, Councilman. How can people get in touch with you and follow you?
You can follow me on Mark Conway 4th on all my social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that. It's Mark Conway 4th with a 4. If you ever need to reach out to me, you can reach me by email, mark.conway@baltimorecity.gov.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. We got to bring you back.
Appreciate
Thank you for setting the pace. Go, go, go.
Excellent
Steph
discussion.
Curry. Next time I see you, Steph Curry, wherever you are on the court, or Skip Wise, we can make it local. That's the East Baltimore basketball.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning, world. Thank you, Andy.
Good morning.